Okay.
Yeah.
What brought you here?
What brought me? Yeah, we left California, and we just looking for something different. And we had two different longtime family friends that had relocated to Texas. One to the Hill Country. She actually moved her entire company here, and I used to travel with her all across the country and a little bit internationally.
The Texas Hill Country is one of the most beautiful places on earth. In this podcast, recent Hill Country resident Tom Fox visits with the people and organizations that make this one of the most unique areas of Texas. Join Tom as he explores the people, places, and their activities of the Texas Hill Country.
Welcome back to another episode, and today I have with me Michele. How do I pronounce your last name?
Van Fossen.
Van Fossen, Michele Van Fossen. As everyone knows, I have a Michele, but now we have another Michele on the podcast. So Michele, first of all, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was such an honor when your wife asked me in the middle of her hair appointment.
So tell us, how long have you lived in Kerrville?
So my family, we have been in Kerrville for almost 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What brought you here?
What brought me? Yeah, we left California, and we just looking for something different. And we had two different longtime family friends that had relocated to Texas. One to the Hill Country. She actually moved her entire company here, and I used to travel with her all across the country and a little bit internationally. Then another family that had moved to the Austin area, and now they are in Kerrville as well. So it made sense to go where we knew people, and it's beautiful here.
That it is.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in your salon, as you said. Tell us about your professional work.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm a hairdresser, licensed hairdresser in 2 states currently, California and Texas. I've been doing hair for over 35 years, Tom. It's kind of a long time. I went to school in San Francisco. I did my apprenticeship at a high-end, amazing salon called Peter Thomas Hair Design in Berkeley, where for 1 full year for minimum wage, so you can imagine what that was 35 years ago, I swept hair. I shampooed for 18 incredibly busy stylists. I made coffee. I folded towels. Pretty much every kind of grunt work you can imagine that would be in a salon. And I did that for 1 year. And then on my own time, 6 hours a week, which equated to 2 evenings a week, I took classes from our staff. I was not paid for those 6 hours. After 1 year of doing that, I was actually paid for my very first haircut. Fast forward, I've worked in several high-end salons. I spent the bulk of my career at a salon in California called Gary Patrick Salon, where I became one of his in-house educators. So I actually helped to train the staff that he brought on. I've also been an educator for 2 major manufacturers. So I actually got the privilege of traveling across the country, teaching to both, on stage, to both large and small audiences all over. So fast forward, we moved to Kerrville. I don't know if you want me to keep going. I could keep going.
Keep going.
Because I can chat a lot, obviously. When we relocated here to Kerrville, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not 12 anymore. And eventually, my body might start to give out. And there's a couple of passions inside of me, and I thought, what a great way to kind of pay it forward. So in our town, in Kerrville, in the beautiful Hill Country, we have a local cosmetology school, but there was something missing for the students once they graduated from school. I had the privilege of having lots of different teaching type of salons to plug into once I graduated. There really wasn't that here in Kerrville, something that was structured. So part of me wanted to create something to pour into the next generation, to help the next generation of stylists achieve success, because it's not just about the hair, it's about a lot of other things as well. As you know, being successful in your career, it's more than just the law, right? So I wanted to pour into the next generation. I wanted to create a platform for future artists to have success. And if I could help, at the beginning, it was if I could help 7 or 8 other stylists achieve what they wanted to achieve, when my body starts to break down, I would naturally be taken care of because the company has been pouring into other people. So I was 55 when I started my first salon. It's my first salon I've ever owned. And it's been exciting and exhilarating and amazing. And we currently have a team of 7 stylists, 3 front desk people, and it started with just me and no stations wired and ugly shelves for my products to hang on. I mean, I could go on and on, but I wanted to pour into the next generation. I wanted to give them a place to land where they could achieve their dreams. I wanted to create a better economy in Kerrville. We have a great population here, and a lot of people were leaving with regards to getting their hair done in bigger towns, because they had the belief that they couldn't get high-end, high-quality work while staying in Kerrville. So one thing I love about what we've done is we've created a company that pours into the community. We create jobs for people that are in the community, and we keep the economy local versus it going to the outer areas of San Antonio, Boerne, Austin, Houston. I have clients that come from as far away as Dallas and Houston to get their hair done here, as well as people that were leaving now aren't leaving, and they're telling their friends and family. So
my mother still has her hair done once a week.
Yeah.
She's 89.
Oh, that's awesome.
So do you have that kind of, not maybe just it's repeat client, but are there still women who want to have their hair done on a regular basis?
Yes, there are, and we have a few of those, but not typically in like how your mother gets hers done, which meaning like with rollers and a set and a comb out once a week. We have just a couple of women that get shampoo blow dries. We have one woman that has gorgeous long silver hair down to here, and she's here at least once a week. She doesn't wash her hair herself. We have a couple of clients like that. We have, and literally a couple, like maybe 5. We do have a few clients that get like a curling iron type of a set, but the bulk of our clients are a little bit more, I don't even know how to say it, but they're not quite in that. Our demographic of our clients is anywhere from ages 2 to 93, with the bulk of our clientele being more in the middle, say like 25 to 50. A lot of professional women. About 30% of our clients are men. So we have a lot of businessmen that come in, as well as musicians. I mean, our clientele, Tom, is so diverse. It's kind of cool like that.
So tell me a little bit more about your paying it forward, with how you're working with cosmetology school, and you work with students and young professionals. I'm really intrigued by that.
Yeah. So I had somebody pour into me. I've had many people pour into me throughout my entire career at different stages of my career. And I felt like, what would my retirement look like if I were to retire, like stop being behind the chair? And I feel like I have had so much experience in this industry, from large high-end salons to renting a space inside of a small salon in a town of 4,000 in the mountains in California. And there's lots of things that are very similar, and that has to do with people and how you treat people and how you deal with people. And I just felt like, for me, in this season of my career, I can give that to the next generation of professionals. So at Pop Hair Art, we talk about 2 sets of skills. We talk about hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are everything that you do with a tint brush, with a pair of shears, with a comb, with gloves, with a color line, with color placement, with lines, with all the different technical skills. We also deal with something that we call the soft skills, which has everything to do with how you treat people and how you build relationship. Your wife, Michele, who is a client of ours, has experienced some of these soft skills. In fact, her stylist is someone that went to the Paul Mitchell School in San Antonio and actually relocated her life 2 hours away from her family to come work in the Pop Hair Art system. I was a guest speaker there a couple of times while she was a student. And then she kind of stalked us on Instagram, and then she started following us and actually reached out to me for a potential position inside of our company. Leah is one who has gone through the entire system. It was about 7 months, and she worked side by side with me, which all associates do here. They don't just shampoo and full towels like I did. Nobody really wants to do that anymore. They actually get to touch every single head that I touch from the beginning. So they learn all the hard skills, as well as all of the intangible things that are kind of difficult to teach. Like, you can read in a book, you can go to a seminar, but until you actually live it every single day, Tom, with dealing with somebody and having conversations with them and learning to honor them as a human being and learning to pour into them and learning to help them feel better about themselves in whatever place they're at in life, that's the stuff that I've done that has allowed me to build clienteles 3 different times when I knew virtually nobody. So from like having no contacts, maybe 5, to building super successful books that are full 3 to 4 months in advance. So Leah is somebody who has gone through that. And upon graduating, her books were very full, probably at least 75%, which is unheard of in our industry for a brand new stylist to step onto the floor and walk into that. And she's gone on to grow in income every single month, grow in loyalty every single month, grow her skill set every single month. So I hope that answers your question. That's just kind of one example of someone that's been through the program.
So in my world,
Yeah.
hard skills are table stakes to get in the game.
Right.
And the soft skills are what separates those who are successful from those who are not. It sounds like to me it's the same in your industry.
Yes, yeah. I actually firmly believe that if we were to take both sets of skills, I think soft skills are slightly more important than hard skills. Now, I've worked with a lot of different professionals in the salon industry as well as other industries when I traveled with my client that moved her company here. And I have seen, just in my industry, okay hairdressers make millions. And I have seen brilliant hairdressers do just okay financially. And the difference was how they think and how they treat people. So
you have other passions, though, besides doing hair.
Okay.
So,
what did Michele tell you?
She said you might be able to give us an English accent.
Oh, I could talk like her if I like. What's been really fun is when I actually do that. I was in London with my friend Danny, that's the company that I traveled with, and not one Brit was offended by it. Not only that, they all thought I was one of them. It was very exciting.
So
very, very exciting.
Where do you get to do that type of work?
So I love performing. In fact, we're even, Tom, your guests don't know this that are listening, but we're recording this. My husband is recording it because I just think it's important. I love to perform. I've done it off and on my whole life. And another thing that I started later in life, once I moved to Kerrville, which is something that I love about the Hill Country, the population is so embracing and so open and so warm and so welcoming. My kids were involved in theater back in California, and I kind of went in and checked out local theaters here through Facebook and Instagram. And they needed, the first day that we moved here, that night, I noticed they needed ushers for an event. And I just kind of plunked down and said, we've ushered. And they said, come on. And that was the beginning of this amazing relationship with with Playhouse 2000, which is a part of the Callow Theater, the Catherine C. Callow City Center for the Performing Arts, which is where Playhouse 2000 is housed. I auditioned for a show after some encouragement and got cast in my first show ever. I was 50, early 50s. I had never performed except in high school one time, and that was it. And I've gone on to have the privilege of doing many shows. I was asked 2 different times to participate in their one-act competition piece that Playhouse 2000 does every other year. We actually got as far as regionals. I won a few acting awards. I hate saying that. I want someone else to talk about that stuff. I've performed at the Point Theater, and I love them as well. My kids have performed. It's fun. It's fun, it's creative. I've done hair for shows. My team has helped out with hair for shows. One of the gals that actually just graduated from our associate program, Alex, did hair for one of the actresses that was in a show at the Point Theater. And so she did hair 3 weekends in a row for her.
So what are some of your favorite roles?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my first role still has to be one of my favorites because it was my first role. And I played Daria Chase in a show called The Game's Afoot, which was a murder mystery farce by Ken Ludwig. And it was a beautiful set. And I didn't realize the caliber of performer I was having the privilege of working with because it was my first time. But when I was all done and then continued to do other shows, it hit me the ensemble cast that was put together was some of the best Hill Country talent that exists. It was pulled together from the Bernie Community Theater, from the Point Theater, as well as Playhouse 2000. That was amazing. However, I have to say, probably my favorite show ever was when I got to play a dog. Did your wife tell you about the show?
No.
Okay, so this was a show called Sylvia. It was actually written specifically for Sarah Jessica Parker to perform in New York off Broadway. And I got cast as the dog. And basically, the story was it was a love triangle, but they kind of used the dog as a midlife crisis other woman thing. And I had the most fun with her. I miss her the most. We typically perform for 3 weekends. And Tom, after the 3rd weekend, I wanted to do it more and more, as did the director, Sarah DeRusso, as did Barbara French, one of my clients who was in the show, as did everybody else that was a part of the show. We actually joke and say, I wish we could do Sylvia again. Most of them are my clients now. And they all say, yeah, I'd sign up. She was amazing. The audiences were wonderful. It was just a great time. Yeah.
So what are some of the things you and your husband like to do in the Hill Country?
What do we like to do in the Hill Country? We love the Riverwalk. It's beautiful here. What Kerrville has done with creating that path, it's now 6 miles, I just noticed, it's 6 miles long. It's gorgeous scenery virtually any time of year. We love to eat. There's a couple local places that we really enjoy. We've made so many friends through the theater. We love to attend the theater. Can you think of anything else? My husband's standing right here. Anything else that you could think of?
Yesterday we hit Trade Days.
Oh, yeah, Trade Days in Fredericksburg. I had never been. I can't believe I'd never been. I've been here almost 9 years, Tom. It was awesome. I bought a really cool ring. My son went with us. He bought some amazing old vinyl, like new to him, but old vinyl, yeah. So that's some of the stuff that we like to do.
So any theater productions in the works or anything coming this summer that we could look forward to?
So, yes, tons of great shows coming, not necessarily with myself in it. I'm not 12 anymore, so there has to be a certain role. Like, I can't play the ingenue anymore. I'm really sad, And I'm also not quite old enough to play the old lady. So it kind of, the roles for me are like narrowing, but that's okay. I still love the theater. My friend, David, who has just written a show called, well, not just, it got published. It's called They Play a Rigged Game. David Remschel is the playwright. He's also the director. It opened last weekend, and it's performing for a couple more weekends. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but that's amazing. There's another original piece being rehearsed right now at Playhouse 2000 called For Such a Time as This. There's a musical coming at that point called Matilda. There's, oh my goodness, Now and Then. There's just so much. Your listeners should just check out Playhouse 2000 and the Point Theater on Facebook, Instagram, or just go to their websites. There's shows that happen. Playhouse typically does 5. The Point Theater does 7 shows a year. There's always something amazing happening at, Hill Country Theater.
Are you a fan of the Folk Festival?
I am. I've only been one time, but I loved it.
So the Folk Festival occurs during the month of May, and it's been on hiatus for the last couple of years.
I know.
But I think a lot of people are looking forward to this year.
Oh, yeah. So it's happening this year? Do we know? Yeah. So that was something, when I first moved here, I hadn't even really heard about it. It took a couple of years for us to hear about it. And we went several years ago. And my son, who I think is a hippie at heart, it's his favorite thing. I think the campgrounds he loves. I love the opportunity it presents for young singer-songwriters to be able to showcase their work. I think it's an amazing community of all kinds of people coming together in a peaceful environment. The vibe there is awesome. We were there for like 12 hours the one day that we went. So I think it's been around for like I don't know how many years.
35 years.
Yeah, long time. So I think it's the longest running festival in Texas, correct?
Right. They have a lot of people who camp the whole time.
Yeah.
It's called Camp Inertia, and it's a really special place.
Have you ever camped there?
I have.
You have?
I have.
Oh my God, we'll have to talk about that sometime.
So, Michele, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time, but I was wondering if our listeners wanted any more information on yourself or your salon, what would be the best way for them to get information?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways. Obviously, you could just call us, 830-955-5533 is the easiest way to get a hold of us during business hours. We also have a website, www.pophairart.com. We are also on Instagram and Facebook, Pop Hair Art, at Pop Hair Art, the @ symbol. We also are on Google and Yelp. I think we've kind of covered, if you just Googled pop hair art, probably all of those things would, oh, this is bad, pop up for you. And you can take your pick, whichever is your favorite.
Well, Michele, I wanted to thank you again for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you so much. It's been such an honor, and I want to talk to you about Camp Inertia.
All right.
All right.
This is Tom Fox. I love telling stories, and the Hill Country Podcast is designed to do just that. If you have a story you'd like to tell, I'd love to sit down and visit with you. Please contact me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com, and I'll sit down and visit with you for an episode of the Hill Country Podcast. The Hill Country Podcast is designed to tell the people, places, and things that make this the most unique part of Texas. The Hill Country Podcast is a production of Compliance Podcast Network. Thanks so much for listening. I look forward to visiting with you